So I used to sit on Concordia Senate a couple of years ago. It was only for a couple of months. It wasn't for very long. And there was a point that was made by an undergraduate student. Her name was Jess. That we had compost or biodegradable cups in Senate, but there wasn't a compost bin. So she pointed that out. And it immediately came to me that there was a model that was done in the whole building, where we had compost bins in essentially most of the floors in the whole building. And that was only done in the whole building. It wasn't done in any other Concordia buildings. And then I also mentioned that Loyola also had a composter that's on site. So the only thing that's preventing us from having a self-sustained or a self-sufficient cycle, complete compost cycle at Concordia, is essentially generalizing that whole building all across the campus. And then you have the Loyola composter taking care of the whole thing, and then you have the city farm and the greenhouse taking care of that compost and using it for producing food to the community. So I talked to a few people after that, particularly Roger Cote, and he seemed to give me some positive responses, except we never really had or at least I never had a concrete plan going forward. It was more just a conversation. Anyway, so last year I I was sitting in CCSL as the GSA representative, and I got to learn about the upcoming BHI project, the Big Hairy Idea project. And I thought, well, that's something I can put on the table and see if we can have a collaboration so that I can bring something to the table and they can bring something to the table, and then we can move forward. So I had an initial sort of project that was a little silly. I got to learn that the Loyola composter was not working. It was sort of broken, which was a bummer. And also I got to learn that the whole building was scaled back. So now compost bins are on only a few places. And with some research and conversation with different people, I got to learn that, well, now we're sending compost to Ottawa. So it seems that we're going in the opposite direction. So I thought, well, okay, maybe we can fix the composter with the Big Hairy Idea money. In return, the administration could make the bins more widespread across the university, and essentially they would take care of the operation, because that's another cost. So that's sort of my thought process. And then we had a meeting with Roger, and Peter Stewart, who's the director of Loyola Sustainability Research Center, was very supportive, and he helped me organize the meeting, and he came with me. And essentially the response that we got is that we shouldn't worry about the infrastructure, and we shouldn't pay with student money, so you can take care of it. What they needed really help was is the educational side, because they said, well, the campaigns that we had a lot of contamination, and that wasn't very useful. So he said, essentially, don't worry about the infrastructure. It's not a question of whether or not we will do it. It's a question of how, and we can sort of work together on that. What we need help is the educational side. So we put that proposal together, that we have the commitment from them on the infrastructure side, and then we can help with the educational side. And then we presented that to CCSL, and I have to thank Professor Stewart. He really helped me a lot with writing the proposal. It was very nice, and I got a lot of compliments on it, and I wasn't the one who made it that beautiful. But yeah, and CCSL gave us $35,000, and we're on our way now for our campaign.